We do need to make it official. It has been moved and seconded to nominate for State Treasurer Dick Clark, State Auditor Claire Collard, and Attorney General Jean Welch Hill by acclamation. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you and congratulations. The first candidate for governor that we will hear from today is Matt Frandsen.
Good afternoon. I'm here today because it is clear to me that the ring of our American democratic bell is being muffled by powerful special interests. Utah has become a political backwater where in actuality one political party has controlled most affairs for nearly 3 decades. Our current governor, who has enjoyed 4 years of historic bubble-driven tax surpluses and record job growth in the housing construction area, will certainly leave our public schools with huge financial headaches as his Bush-styled tax cuts take effect during this economic recession. Our current situation is truly frightening. With trickle-down ideology where the top 10% have gained so much wealth, we now leave the rest of our nation lagging far behind the other Western industrial nations in the area of education, health care, affordable housing, and transportation. This leaves our citizens with a lower standard of life and higher expenses. Our environmental, social, and economic conditions here in Utah certainly don't excel above the national averages either. Instead, we've allowed our beautiful state to be spoiled by those who only see the possibilities of exploitation. Economically, Utah is in the throes of a major housing crisis and now ranks 5th in the nation in subprime foreclosures. Our local prison population is growing, while those of us on the outside are utilizing prescription antidepressant drugs at an alarming rate. And we haven't prioritized policies that could have cut the environmental risks associated with our increased per capita use of fossil fuels. This missed opportunity would have reduced our yellow and red pollution days here along the Wasatch Front. Now, Utah Republicans disturbingly also seem determined to join the rest of the country in nuclear power generation. I suppose it's so we can both create the toxic wastes and bury them too. Hello, my name is Matt Frandsen, or as some of you may have noticed on my email address, Maserati Matt. That's not to be confused with Monty Millionaire, who's the next speaker today. I feel that my background and philosophy of life have helped prepare me for this political calling. Let me explain. My philosophy in life is the practice of delayed self-gratification or the acceptance of pleasure as a byproduct of a focused life. However, I have had to overcome one of my earliest indulgences, that of baby formula consisting of nothing but condensed milk and sugar. My father was my most informative guide, self-employed architect from Ogden. Together with my mom, they taught me about hard work and helped me develop a sense of diligence. I learned goal setting, involved in church scouting, and earned money after school on a paper route as a restaurant dishwasher. I also developed analytical thinking, earning 2 engineering degrees and then working as a nuclear test engineer and as a consultant in the systems control field for 15 years. I am culturally sensitive. In a self-directed cultural exchange program, I visited most of the Western industrial nations. I've witnessed socialist Cuba, the fall of the Berlin Wall, the Hiroshima and Nagasaki peace memorials, and various towns in the free trade zones from our own NAFTA to the United Arab Emirates. I have also learned courage, hiking with provisions along the entire 2,600-mile mountainous crest of the Sierra and Cascade mountain ranges spanning California, Oregon, and Washington. I understand parenthood. My wife, Michelle, gave birth to our wonderful daughter, Sophia, who turns 5 next week. Sophie expresses her delights about fascinations that I had lost long, long ago. And I've been politically active. I ran twice for public legislative office, have written pamphlets, news commentary, and knocked on thousands of doors. My latest and largest undertaking is the citizens' initiative called Rings True. This would put Utah income tax code back where it belongs after decades of imbalance. Where our Republican leadership has failed us, we now can step in with an elegant solution. The Rings True tax initiative would rank Utah 8th in the nation when compared to taxable income thresholds, thus providing additional tax relief for those who are impacted the hardest with the current food crisis. We can also talk to voters this year about the permanent economic stimulus package that this reform carries with it, shifting nearly $300 million annually back into the pockets of 750,000 middle-class taxpayers. We can also mediate the arguments between frustrated taxpayers who seek tax relief and our hardworking Utah educators who are doing more with less. Let's not be naive. There are enemies to real tax change. Some in the media, others, suggest that this citizens' initiative is drastic, irrational, and punitive. But just like the sound of a church bell, this policy rings true with the public when the real social impacts are explained. In closing, there are many policy changes that Democrats seek, and I have my list too, but this is not the time for me to make political promises. It will take time later on to flesh out my ideas with interested citizen groups. I would like to encourage you all to stay and afterwards visit our booth, and we have some forms that you can calculate your personal income taxes and compare them under the proposed changes. Then also, when you get home, visit www.utahtax.org to stay abreast of breaking news. One suggestion I have, though, please verify any newspaper reporting on this subject, as the mainstream press is currently ill-informed on the subject despite our best attempts to educate them. Thank you, God bless, and good afternoon. Either way. Okay.